So I'm going to solve this system with Gaussian elimination. It's a four equation, four variable system. So it's big and it might get a little hairy. We might get some fractions in here. This problem is probably intended for you to use a calculator, but I've had several people request that I do this by hand. So I'm going to try to do that for you now. And uh, our first goal is to make this top left corner a 1. So I could do that several ways. I could divide this row by 4, which I don't really like because it'll make fractions here. So I'm going to actually just switch these two rows. I'm going to say replace row 1 with row 2. And let's just go ahead and multiply row 2 by -1, and that will get rid of the negative sign. So row 2 is going to go, or sorry, row 1 is going to go in row 2 spot. And row 2, the negative of row 2 is going to go in row 1 spot. Then the other rows stay the same. So I have my leading 1, and then I can eliminate these two. So I need to change row 2 by subtracting 4 row 1. I'm going to change row 4 by adding row 1. So row 1 stays the same. Row 3 stays the same because it already had a 0. So for row 2, I'm going to subtract 4 row 1. So -4 row 1 plus row 2. So it'll be 4 minus 4 is 0. -1 plus 16, it's going to be 15. 0 minus 4, -4. -1 minus 0, so it'll be -1. And I've got 30 plus 4 times 60. 4 times 60 is 240. So 30 plus 240, that'd be 270. And then for row 4, we're going to add row 1. So that would be 0, -4, 0, +4, and looks like -20. 40 plus -60. Now I've got to get a 1 in this spot now. So I think it would make sense to move this 1 into that spot. So we're going to switch these two rows. And again, I'll do the negative of row 3. So I'm going to replace row 2 with negative row 3. So all the other rows stay the same. And look at row 4. I mean, we could simplify that too. How about we do that? Let's just change row 4 into -1/4 row 4. You can do things to kind of simplify it as you see fit, even if it deviates from the regular algorithm. So if I divide this by -4, it'd be 1, 0, -1, and 5. So that might help us later on. So row 2 is going to go to row 3 spot. And row 3 is the negative of row 3 is going to go in row 2 spot. So I have my leading 1. I'm going to pivot, make the other entries in that column a 0. So I'm going to replace row 1 plus 4 row 2. Place row 3 with row 3 minus 15 row 2. And row 4 with row 4 minus row 2. So row 2 will stay the same. For row 1, we're going to subtract 4 row 2, so that's going to be 1 minus 0, and negative 4 minus 4 is 0. And I got 1 minus 16, it's going to be negative 15. Got 0 plus 4, negative 60 plus 4 times negative 70. So I'm going to do this in the calculator. Negative 60 plus 4 times negative 70, negative 340. So for row 3, we're going to subtract 15 row 2. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 15 minus 15 is 0. And I've got a negative 4 minus 4 times negative 15. It's going to be 56. Negative 1 minus 15 be negative 16. And I've got 270 minus 15 times negative 70. 1320. I did that in a calculator. And the last row, I'm going to just subtract row 2. So I get 0, 0, 0, positive 4, negative 2, and 75. All right, so now I need a 1 in this spot. So I could take a couple shots here. I could divide this row by 56, and it's not terrible. But maybe dividing this row by 4 is going to be better. I don't know. You could try either one. You know what? Let's just go ahead and divide this by 56 because it might be okay. Let's do this in blue. So the operation is replace row 3 with 1 over 56 row 3. So 0 divided by 56 is going to be 0. 56 divided by 56 will be 1. Negative 16 over 56. They're both divisible by 8. So 16 is 16 divided by 8 is 2. So I get a negative 2. And 56 divided by 8 is 7. So I get 2/7. 1320 divided by 56 is 165 over 7. I did that in the calculator. So I got kind of a bad fraction there. So I've got this 1. I'm going to pivot and make all the other entries a 0. So I'll replace row 1 with row 1 plus 15 row 3. Replace row 2 with row 2 plus 4 row 3. Replace row 4 with row 4 minus 4 row 3. So row 3 will stay the same. So we'll start with row 1. Row 1 plus 15 row 3. So it's going to be 1, 0, 0. Right, negative 15 plus 15. And then I've got 4 plus 15 times negative 2/7. That's 4 minus 30 over 7. This is 28 over 7. So I get negative 2/7. Okay, and then I've got negative 340 plus 15 times negative 70. No. Wrong one. 165 over 7. Okay, so 165 times 15, 2475 over 7. This is negative 2380 over 7. So if I add those together, get 95 over 7. Okay, for row 2, I'm going to add 4 row 3. So 0, 1. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And then I've got 1 plus 4 times negative 2 over 7. So 1 plus 4 times negative 2/7. This is 7 over 7 minus 8 over 7. That's negative 1/7. And then I've got negative 70 plus 4 times 165 over 7. So this is negative 490 over 7 plus 660 over 7. Gives me 170 over 7. Okay, row 4. Going to subtract 4 row 3. 0, 0, 0. Then I've got negative 2 minus 4 times negative 2/7. It's negative 14/7 plus 8/7. That's negative 6/7. Okay, and then we have 75 minus 4, 165/7. So let's see. Again, I got to use my calculator. 525/7 minus 660/7 negative 135/7. All right, so let me erase all this stuff so I have room. I've got to make this a 1. So I'm going to replace row 4 with the negative 7/6, row 4. That will make that 1. Everything else stays the same. So what's the last one? So we've got negative 7/6 times negative 135/7. So these cancel. It's going to be a plus 135/6. No, that doesn't reduce. Let's see. It does reduce. It's 45/2. Okay, so now we're going to take this 1, pivot, so I'm going to replace row 1 with row 1 plus 2/7 row 4. Place row 2 plus 1/7 row 4. Place row 3 plus 2/7 row 4. So row 4 will stay the same. Get some more room here so I can write a bunch. So row 1 is row 1 plus 2/7 row 4. So we're going to have 1, 0, 0, and then negative 2/7 plus 2/7 will be 0. That's what I want. So this is the part where I've got to do some work. 95/7 plus 2/7 times 45/2. These cancel, and I get 95 plus 45, which is 140/7. That's going to be 20. After all that, we got 20. Okay, for row 2, I'm going to add 1/7 row 4, so I get 0, 1, 0, and then a 0 again, because negative 1/7 and 1/7 is 0. And then I've got 170 over 7 plus 1/7 times 45 over 2. So let's see, I need to make that 340 over 14 plus 45 over 14. That's 385 over 14. Let's see if that reduces. It does. That's 55 over 2. And then the third row, row 3 plus 2/7 row 4, get 0, 0, 1. And then negative 2/7 and 2/7 is 0. And then I have 165 over 7 plus 2/7 times 45 over 2. These are going to cancel. 165 plus 45 is 210 over 7. That is 30. So that one turned out to be 30. So long story short, we get T1 is 20, T2 is 55 over 2, T3 is 30, T4 is 45 over 2. So let's check this in the calculator. So here I've got the original matrix entered in my calculator, and I'm going to call up the RREF function. I get this. Let's check that with our answer. And I can turn these into fractions. Let me do that. So I get 20, 55 over 2, 30, and 45 over 2. So like I said in the beginning, I think this is intended to be a calculator problem, but you can do it by hand.